Parth, please come up on. If I had to list all of Parth's positions within the JSW group, our full 35, 40 minutes will go just in that. But Parth is running a bunch of different businesses within JSW. What's remarkable about Parth's work is the nuances with which he can speak about the auto sector, the cement industry, sports in our country. I mean, JSW, in my opinion, has done more for non-cricket sports in our country than any other organization that I can think about. And it's remarkable what he's done. He's been leading their cements effort, which is going to go public later this year. And so we're very, very lucky to have him on this panel as well. So we've really got a remarkable group of folks, and wanted to start by introducing everyone. So let's give them all a big round of applause. Parth, you want to tell us about how you've navigated things? Before Parth talks about his experiences, I must highlight, you should watch his interviews from Davos this year. It's quite remarkable that he can go into the nuances of EV batteries and still elevate the conversation back up to cement pricing and IPOs and that kind of stuff. So the breadth of your knowledge is quite amazing. So tell us about your start. Where did Mr. Jindal kind of put you first, and how did you work your way up the organization?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Dhruv. No, for me, I think when I came back from the US in 2012 from undergrad, I worked for a year in New York and Tokyo, and then I was part of a team of JSW Steel that actually went to Japan to learn about making auto-grade steel, because back in 2013, India didn't have a single factory that could make auto-grade steel. So that was my first experience back in the business. And when I came back, I was trying to figure out what to do, and I had a choice of either entering one of the two publicly listed entities of JSW, which was either the steel business or the energy business, or look at some of the private companies within the JSW group. And I actually stumbled upon 3 of our loss-making businesses. We had a cement business at the time, which we were about to sell to CRH. We have a US steel business, which was losing a lot of money, and we had a small IT company. So I went to my father and I asked him that, Dad, I could shadow you or shadow anyone in the organization. They're such great people, or I could take over these loss-making companies, and I think I don't think it could get any worse. They're already losing money. So he's like, yeah, that's a great idea. They're already losing money. If you can go and turn them around, I think you'll do something good for the group, and you'll also build your own confidence and credibility. And shut down the IT business very quickly, realized that we are a manufacturing group who knows how to manufacture in India, so we should stay focused on that. And now I look after our cement business, started a paints company, gotten into automobiles, and obviously the passion is truly sports, and the US steel business with everything that's going on. There's only, I think, very few people who smile when they hear about tariffs. When you're a producer of steel in the US, you definitely smile when you hear about tariffs.
Speaking of tariffs, I think this couldn't be the most perfect segue into that, particularly because your group is unique in that you obviously produce a lot of steel domestically, have those steel plants in the US as well. But on the auto sector, as an example, dramatic reductions in tariffs could be very harmful to the domestic automakers. And if you take the Jindal group, it competes with the world's steel providers, but at the same time cooperates with a Chinese auto company, as an example, MG being that company. So how do you view this tension around tariffs? Is it, what kind of opportunity do you think the last 72 hours has created for India?
I think on the tariff side, I think we have to recognize that India is a developing country, and here cost is king. And if in order to scale in India, you need to have the right cost economics. Now, if a US automaker wants to come into India, please allow, I would request and I would urge the government to please allow them to come into India without any tariff, because I can tell you for sure they cannot compete in terms of cost.
Right.
And the cost of labor itself is so high over there that I don't think they can compete on cost, nor can they compete on technology. The situation is completely different when you look at China. China is the world leader in terms of technology for EVs, for PHEVs, and China is the world leader when it comes to cost as well. And if India truly wants to electrify its automobile industry and truly wants to become self-reliant, because today India has enough coal to make energy, India has enough solar power, India has enough wind, India has enough access to water. So there is no reason why India should be importing, millions and millions and millions of barrels of oil in order to fuel our motorways and fuel our cars, trucks, buses, two-wheelers, everything. So I think that's where we draw the line, that we say, okay, if we can bring in the right technology from China, there's absolutely no harm in doing that, as long as you're bringing in technology and you're not bringing in finished products from any country. So that's the way we view the world. Whereas in steel and in many other industries, the Chinese have always looked at India or looked at the world as a dumping ground. They need to employ their people in China, and for them, employment is much more important than profits. And as a result, they make other economies reliant on their product. And as soon as the domestic industry shuts down, they jack up the prices. And we've seen that in a bunch of industries across the world. And as a result, we need to protect those critical industries as long as we are competitive. At the same time, cooperate with them where their technology is the leader in the world, so that we can bring the cost down in India. And that's how we view the world and view how we need to deal with China or the US or any other country.
What has been a big impediment to breaking the cost curve in the auto sector? Is it just the batteries, the fact that we have to import the batteries?
Yeah, I think importing the cells and having the technology to manufacture the lithium-ion cells is truly the knowledge that so far we don't have in India. You have it in few countries in the world only, Japan being one, Korea being one, but China is by far and above the leader in terms of that technology. People are now trying to bring that technology into India with collaborations with Chinese companies. And yeah, so I think it's a broad question, but I think at JSW, like Jay mentioned, the CSR law, we have the JSW Foundation, and I think the social license to operate truly comes from the foundation. So before we go to any location, the first thing that actually starts is the CSR work. So whether it's putting up the local school, the hospital, making sure that the direct impact zone is actually taken care of, because you can't be an island of prosperity in a sea of poverty. You have to take care of everything that surrounds you. So we do a lot of work in our DIZs, and I think about 80% of our foundation's efforts go there towards helping the agriculture, the farmers, helping the education, the healthcare, the whole system. On a larger scale, I think we do a lot of work in sports. That's something that I'm passionate about, and I think we've spoken about earlier. But I think we also give back a lot to higher education institutes. I think for many generations, a lot of corporate India has been donating to foreign institutions, and not enough institutions have been built in our country, and we have some of the finest institutions in India. So we've given large gifts to the National Law School in Bangalore, to IIT Mumbai, to Kriya University. We've set up the JSW School of Public Policy at IIM Ahmedabad. We've done things with Anant University, and we're doing work with IIT Banaras, IIT Delhi. So we're really trying to give back and create, make our top institutions even stronger, because they are actually some of the brightest minds running the world today. If you just have to look at the US and see how many CEOs are actually Indian and how many of them are actually from IIT to know that the world is being run by people coming out of our institutions, and they don't get enough funding from individuals. They don't get enough funding from corporate India. So we're doing work there, and yeah, I think the CSR Act and the law of giving 2% back, we were working in non-profits well before that, but to make it formal and to make it mandatory is a really great step, and that's enabling a lot of work to be done in areas like education, healthcare, sports, and others, and I think at JSW Foundation we focus on all these areas.
Superb, and to your point, India still only spends about 1% of its GDP on R&D. And if you look around the world, most R&D actually happens at universities and higher level institutions like that, which is where we need to give back. We need to create that culture of philanthropy, to give back to the organizations that we've been very lucky to have gone to, and at the same time support. So I think that's a great mission. And as they say, there's no greater service you can do than giving someone a job. And all four of you have created lakhs of jobs in this country. So we're extremely grateful for all that you're doing, and hope to see you continue to thrive in your various respective fields. I'm being told that our time is up, so just want to give the four of them a big round of applause again.